Hotel. Welcome back. Welcome back. I thank you guys for tuning in. We got a real powerful show for you guys today. A real powerful show. Anybody that's been following my channel, you will know that a couple of days ago I covered an interesting story. An interesting story about the young man that's on the screen with me right now. The young man had a situation at City Hall that involved one of our city officials and the mayor of Texas City. And I brought the brother on to explain what we all saw in that live interview on Facebook and to give us his explanation of what was going on. Now, is it man, the brother reached out to me and after that interview or after what happened at City Hall, and there's been some more disturbing and troubling things that have occurred. And I'm not going to try to tell this young man's story for him. I'm going to let him tell you guys what's been happening to him. But I know you guys see the title, so you have some kind of idea about what we're going to be getting into. I'm going to tell you guys. I've been involved in like politics for a while, and I've been trying to get my feet wet for a while. And I've never seen what has happened to this young man recently. I've never actually seen that happen to anyone. It even caught me off guard. So I'm interested in hearing exactly what he has to say, you know what I mean, and have him explain how this all transpired. But it is disturbing to me. It's disturbing to me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let this brother actually introduce himself. Some of you may know him, some of you may not. So if you will, brother, just take a few minutes. Let the people know who you are, you know, where you're from, and how did we get to this point, and then we'll actually get into the interview where you can tell your story.
Okay, yeah, my name is Frederick Amy. I actually started doing this in about 2014, 2015, and I kind of eased off of it once Chief Burby retired. Once he retired, I kind of stayed away from it for a little bit, like I explained on the last show. But eventually, I caught wind of, like I said, about an email that was sent out to the chief of police, which is Joe Stanton. It was one sent out in 2019 and in 2020, and that is what sparked me to start going to city hall meetings and going and filing open records requests. Well, I didn't let y'all know in the last time I appeared on here that actually the day before of that show I had been arrested. I didn't nobody knew. I'm people are probably finding out now. Probably only 5 people knew before this, but I had been arrested at City Hall by Officer Mike Kellerman. He actually stalked me for an hour while I was inside of City Hall. I was actually trying to fill out a open records request, and I was peacefully protesting. I had a sign that I was peacefully protesting. That was actually the sign that we were talking about on the last episode. And when I left, he took me to jail for traffic violations. I was not allowed. I had over $1,000. I actually had 1,200 and a little, 1,200 and some change on me. He fabricated a charge for failure to identify, even though I gave him my driver's license on camera, and I was in jail for 6 hours for traffic violations. He towed my car in the to the impound, so altogether, I ended up paying around $800 to get out of jail. While I was in jail, they actually told me that it was a two-way process, meaning that for $75 I could wait on the bondsman to come, or if I wanted to bond out immediately right then and there, I would have to pay $379. And like I previously stated, I had over $1,200 on me. Well, they said, yeah, Mr. Amy, you do have the amount to get out of jail, but you just don't have the exact amount of change. And I was like, excuse me. And he was saying, well, the amount's $379. And even though we can take 3 of the $100 bills that you have and 4 of the $20 bills that you have and give you $1 back, we can't do that because you don't have the exact $379. So I asked him, so I have to sit in jail because I don't have $379 exactly? And he said yes. So I sat in jail for I sat in jail for 4 more hours until a family member of mine could come with $379 exactly for me to get out of jail. After that, I got out of jail. I went and paid $192 to get my car out the impound, and I went home and I started making signs. I started making signs to express my grievances with the officer and the way that he handled that situation. While I was doing that, I went to City Hall for 3 days straight, or 4 days straight, and I had those signs, and I would be recording. I actually have Bruce Clausen on camera saying that I was telling the Tech City police officers, because they call the police on me every single time I come up there. Every single time that I go to Tech City Hall to file an open records request, or if I just go in there and I just walk around and I'm recording, which is basically practicing my First Amendment right, they call the police on me every single time. And I have
Um,
it.
I don't want to cut you off. Can I ask you a question? I may
Yeah.
have missed it. I just turned off my camera so I could share the video to our Facebook so people can tune in. Did you say that the day that you actually had a conversation with the mayor, that day that that conversation that we covered the last show, you went to jail that same day, or
I went to jail the next day.
and you say, okay, so you went inside of City Hall, and when you came out, there was an officer waiting for you in the parking lot?
So this is exactly what happened. So when I arrived at City Hall, it's all I have it on camera as well. I never deleted the footage. When I arrived at City Hall, I wasn't there for probably 5 minutes, and Detective Flores showed up. And Detective Flores was just watching me, and I asked him to identify himself. He gave me he reluctantly identified himself. So then Sergeant House showed up. Sergeant Officer Gonzalez showed up, and Mike Kellerman showed up. That was the first four officers that showed up on the scene for me filing an open records request and video recording. So in the midst of that, me noticing Mike Kellerman, I had a previous experience with him about in 2010, 2011, where he fabricated PC, which is basically probable cause. He
Mm-hmm.
fabricated probable cause to pull me over. I had that on video as well. It was on another phone. He hid right there by Burger King. There's a credit union right there on 13th Avenue, and he hides behind. That was one of his hiding spots, and he hid behind there, and he pulled me over, and he pulled me over, and he said that the reason he pulled me over was because I didn't have valid insurance. And I told him, no, sir, that's a lie. Like, I have valid insurance. I pulled it out and I gave it to him. He went back to his car. He ran the valid insurance. He ran the insurance, confirmed that it was valid, and he came back and he said, well, I'm still going to write you a ticket. Get this. He said, I'm still going to write you a ticket because even though your driver's license is valid in the state of Texas, you don't have it physically on you. So I'm going to write you a ticket for that. And he wrote me a ticket for that. And that ticket was actually $10. That was a $10 ticket that he
Mm-hmm.
wrote me. So at City Hall, I was telling him about that experience. And I was telling him how he fabricated the probable cause. And I explained that he was a known racist police officer and things like that. Well, in the midst of all of that happening, Sergeant House and Officer Mike Kellerman go outside, and they act like they leave. So Sergeant House actually leaves, and Mike Kellerman acts like he leaves, and he goes and he parks his vehicle. Do you know in back of City Hall there's some stairs that the employees use to go? The employees use a back entrance to go into City Hall. He
Mm-hmm.
actually went and parked his car all the way to the back of the stairs. The back of it, he backed up into
Yeah.
it. He basically hid.
Yeah, so
He
you
hid.
couldn't see him.
Right. He hid his car all the way in there, and he waited till I left, and he pulled me over for a traffic violation. And then once he pulled me over for a traffic violation, he asked me for my ID. I gave him my ID, and that's whenever he said, "Oh, I have a Florida driver's license." And he said, "Are you still living in Florida?" And I said, "I don't answer questions." And whenever I told him that, he asked me to step out the car. Made me put my phone down, stop me from recording, put me in handcuffs, and then put me in the back of the police car. And then he had two other Tech City police officers come search my vehicle as well.
Wow. How far did you get away from City Hall before he pulled you over?
He put me over in City Hall parking lot.
For a traffic violation in the parking lot?
My car was towed from City Hall parking lot.
What was the traffic violation?
I had I had an expired registration. My expired sticker was
Yeah.
my expired registration, and actually the next day I got it taken care of. Like less than 24 hours. I was being lazy during
They
COVID.
waited for you to get in the car
Mm-hmm.
just so they could arrest you after you went. Wow.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay. Oh, and
right.
that's when you went down there and you had the fines and wow. That's
Right.
crazy.
So basically, I
That's
went to
crazy.
jail for that. What a normal citizen would get a ticket for.
Yeah. 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 That's crazy. That's crazy. And you say, and so it just so the people understand, I don't know if this is a new policy or something. I don't know if they were speaking about your particular case. I don't know. Have you told anybody about this?
Yeah, I've told a lot of people about it. I've actually reached out to the ACLU about that bond and bail process because that is absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, because I seen someone after this happened, I saw someone on Facebook. They said something about how can I not get out of jail unless I have exact change. I don't know if they were referring to something they experienced or something that they heard about you, but you're saying that you physically had enough money, like you had more than enough.
I
You were
had
basically
12,
saying,
I had
"Oh, we
1,200.
can't make change."
Right. I had 1,200 and some change. I had like 1,200 something dollars, almost $1,300. But I had it in $100 bills, some 20s, and I only had 110, and I had some ones, like $2 in ones. The rest was in hundreds, 20s, and I had 110. Right. But I had like over $1,200
Yeah, you had the money. Yeah.
on my person when he
Oh,
arrested me.
physical cash
Oh,
in the
that's
pocket.
physical cash. Yes, right when he took me to jail.
Wow,
Yes,
that's
meaning
crazy.
right, he pulled the money out of my pocket. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So then whenever I say, hey, how does the process go as far as bonding out? Like I can bond myself out of jail, and they said you can either call the bondsman or you can bond yourself out immediately once we get you booked in. So in the process of that, I called the bondsman. The bondsman said $75. So then once they booked me in, they told me $379 to get out. I said I want to pay the $379 right now to get out of jail. I want to pay that right now. And they told me, oh, well, you do have enough money to get out of jail, but you don't have the exact amount. And I said, what? I said, so you mean you telling me that I'm finna sit in jail right now, even though I have more than enough money to get out of jail, but because I can't give you the exact amount of dollars that I have to sit in here? And they said yes.
When you reached out to the ACLU and did your research, did you find out that that's actually like is that a policy
Well,
now
I'm
or is that
waiting for them. I'm actually waiting on them to respond back to my complaint about it. I actually did it 2 days ago.
the police didn't say why it's like that?
That's their policy. That's Texas
They said
City.
it's
Yeah,
actual policy on the books.
that's their policy. Like I can't believe it. Nobody actually has said and made like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, is that you do it when they explained it? I know sometimes like the city council they'll get together or whatever and they'll make was like a city ordinance or the board or the people in charge at the police department they'll enact new policies. They're trying to say that this is something that they came up with. They've been had.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
trying to say this is a policy,
yeah, that's crazy. That's
right?
wild. Wow. Okay, so how long, even though you had the money to get out, how long did you have to sit in Tech City jail?
I was in jail for about 6 hours.
Yeah, yeah, waiting on someone to come up with
Some
exact change.
right to come. They brought their own money. I mean, they came. So then the same person came with $380, and they told them, no, we can't take that. You have to go and get $379 exactly.
Wow,
So they wouldn't even change take like make change for $1.
that's crazy. Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. That's crazy. So,
Mm-hmm.
while you were in there, did any police officers say anything interesting, or that was just you was
Uh,
in 6 hours?
man, I'm gonna be honest, man. If anybody wants to FOIA request the cameras from in there, man, y'all can FOIA request it. I'm gonna say, man, I went on a verbal rampage in there.
Yeah,
I went on an absolute verbal rampage on Officer Mike Kellerman. Everything that I told him that I was going to do in there, I've done. I told him that how many ever hours I was incarcerated, that's how many months that I was gonna be on his ass, and on his ass means being up at the Tech City Police Department and being just out in public with signs expressing my grievances for his performance as a police officer in his official capacity. And I've done that. I'm going to continue to do it. And like I said, he fabricated a ticket about me failing to ID. And like I told him in jail, if he plays hardball on that ticket and continues the lie, it's going to be a year. I told him while I was in there. So I told him how many ever hours I'm in jail, that's how many months that I was going to be on your ass. And then I said, if you play hardball on that ticket that failed to identify, then I'm gonna make it a year that I'm expressing my grievances. I'm gonna make it one whole year. I don't care about paying for the ticket. I'm not worried about the money. But if you don't do the right thing, if he don't do the right thing and say like, let the district attorney know, Robert Barkerfield, let him know like, hey man, like I was mad, like I was mad as fuck. I was mad how he was talking to me. So, and I wanted to make it as hard as possible for him to get out of jail. So I fucking lied. But if not, if he don't want to do that right there, if he don't want to do that, I'm cool with that. I'll pay whatever they want me to pay, and then we just mark the year. And then from then on, I'll just be on his ass for a whole year with the signs, letting the community know, letting his family know, letting his kids' friends know within the community that this dude is a piece of shit. That's it.
You wanna know what's interesting about that? I was at home one day, a couple of days ago. I'm at home, watching TV. I'm with my children or whatever. And so, my wife, she was actually out and about, and so she calls my phone. So I'm, hey, what's up, baby? How you doing? What's up? So she was like, hey, remember that guy that you had on your show about City Hall, Dedrick Johnson, et cetera, et cetera? So I was like, yeah, my boy Fred, yeah, I know. She say, man, he's out in front of. He was like, man, he's out in front of the police station right now with a sign. So I told her, I say, what? I say, you know what? He said that's what he was going to do. So she say, look, I'm gonna go back around right now, and I'm gonna get a video of it so I can show you. And so I saw her actually pull. She pulled. I don't know if you remember, but she told you that she was my wife. But she
Right,
actually pulled
yeah.
up to you and asked you what you was out there. Asked you about the particular sign that you had. So I know that you were out there, and the community did see you, man. So how
Right.
many days have you been out there so far?
7.
Seven consecutive days.
No, not 7 consecutive days, but due to the rain, it
Oh
rained real
yeah.
bad. It rained real bad 2 days in a row, so I couldn't go. But I've been out there 7 days since that's happened, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been getting a lot of good like feedback and response from the community. And almost every day, at least I try to manifest at least 10 people actually physically stopping and taking a picture, but I haven't got to 10 like that I physically get to stop. I see a lot of people like riding by, taking pictures sneaky and like recording sneaky, but the highest that I've got is 8. It's usually about 8 to 9 people that'll stop and take a picture and ask me what's going on. And whenever people do that, that lets me know that if I can just touch 1 or 2 people, they're gonna tell their friends, and it's just gonna eventually it'll catch fire.
Yeah. Have you been harassed by any cops while you were out there protesting?
Um, I wouldn't say harassed. There is one officer that hasn't really he's grasped it a little bit, but he hasn't fully grasped. He doesn't fully understand yet, and that's Officer Randall Johnston. And his nickname is in the law enforcement community, his nickname is Elmo, and within the street community, his name is Cornbread. But his actual government
Oh,
name, his actual government
I know
name
you're
is,
talking about.
and he's a notorious officer as well. And his name is Randall Johnston. He hasn't fully grasped the concept yet of a black man being able to actually do that within the community. He's grasping it, which he's getting better at. He hasn't fully grasped it, meaning he still does like little shit like if he sees me leaving from the protest, he'll get behind me, run my plates, like follow me for a mile, or just little shit that he knows that he's not supposed to do. Like little shit, like kind of like poking back. And I had explained to him previously, because he was one of the officers that responded at City Hall, that if he didn't lose some of the hostility that he was having, that I would be expressing my grievances with him on a sign as well. But I would move because I want to start moving to places like in front of the high school, so the kids can know what's going on, so they can get involved within the community as far as law enforcement. And when they ask me, and I know that this is a white supremacist officer, I can actually tell them, hey, when you see this officer right here, be very, very vigilant and weary of him, and he will kill you if he has the opportunity. If he has the opportunity to where he think he can kill you and get away with it, he will. So please be very wary of him.
Yeah, and see, I'm a little older than you, and I remember back when I was in high school, he was actually a school officer as well. He used to be
Right.
inside the schools. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
and actually, I wanted to go into a little depth to give people that are watching this why I'm like this about this officer. So, his name is Officer Mike Kellerman. He's a K9 unit. He's basically one of the K9 units for Texas City Police Department right now, but he has a troubled history, and I'm gonna explain that to y'all. And you can look up everything I'm about to tell y'all. In 2009, there was a man by the name of Jamal Valentine. He was experiencing a medical situation. He was having a medical emergency. He was actually experiencing very bad chest pains. Thought he was having a heart attack or a stroke. He panicked. He ran outside. When he ran outside, he flagged down a civilian. The man's name was Keith Pope. The man he flagged down name was Keith Pope. Keith Pope called 911. Instead of the paramedics and EMT arriving, it was three police officers. One of them was Mike Kellerman. The other one's name is Richard Drix, and there's one other officer that I can't remember his name. They proceeded to beat and tase Jamal Valentine to death. And once he died, his family filed a wrongful lawsuit. But back in 2009, this was when police transparency was basically taboo, which was
Hmm.
basically it wasn't really, it was very kind of frowned upon to kind of let the public know what really happened within police shootings and things like that. And also to make y'all aware, the body cam 2009, I don't think Lamarck had body cams.
Hmm.
So it was a lot easier to cover up the murder and kind of make it go away. He actually him and Richard Drix actually were forced to resign basically from Texas City Police. I mean, from Lamar, and they actually are now working at Texas City Police Department.
Mm. I didn't have the specifics
Mm-hmm.
of that case, but I when you mentioned the name Valentine, I did hear about a young man in Lamar being killed by police. I do
Mm-hmm.
remember them saying something about him being tased and
Right.
something like that. Was it around the Jack in the Box area, I think, or somewhere in there? Or what was
I don't exactly remember the area. I just know it was. I just remember it was in Lamar. I know
it?
that I can look it up and get the information from the article, but I know it was in Lamar for sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he has a history. Actually, Mike Kellerman has a very like notorious history of actually terrorizing the black community. And when I mean that, the same way that he sat and prayed on me at City Hall is the
Hmm.
same way he has. It's not his first time actually like doing that. He that's a very common tactic that he uses. And like I explained to Cornbread or Randall Johnson, whenever I was speaking to him, I let him know like, hey, like as far as any officers go, that I am not. I'm not the prey, that I am an apex predator, that I don't have any natural predators. So you can't prey on me. I'm also not a dog, which means I don't get crate trained, meaning that you don't get upset about something that I'm doing and you get to put me in a cage.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And since you did kind of mention back on the city hall, another thing that I wanted to kind of touch on is I'm gonna be honest with you. You're the first person that I've ever heard about that got banned from city hall, brother. The first
Right.
person. You know,
Right.
can you kind of explain to us how that actually came about and just give the people some
Uh,
information about that?
I can, and I actually I'm glad you brought that up because I wanna go in depth about that because it's what it seems on the surface of what you explained, that ban from City Hall. um that's a chess move, and what I mean by chess move, I'm gonna explain it to you so you can kind of understand. And this is why I'm gonna get into depth about everything. This is like the second part. So when I told you that, whenever when I would go file the open records request, they would send officers basically to come babysit me, which means that they would just sit there while I was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the the officers that would come would be minority officers. For some reason, by my luck, after that incident with Kellerman, it was minority officers. So the minority officers that would come, I would explain to them, like I was pointing out in the first time I came on here, about the white supremacist tattoo and the non-diversity and the stripping of the I was eh, I was explaining basically in the when I was talking in the original one about how there's a white supremacist police officer with the white supremacist tattoo, and that basically it had been covered up. So that same way I explained that to y'all, when the Texas City police officers would come, the minority ones, I would explain that to them, and you could genuinely see the shock that they didn't know. They the same way that it was covered up on Manuel Johnson's skin, it was covered up within the police department.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever the officers would come, I would tell them that. So that trespassing, if you think about it, there's way less people that will be able to see the signs in City Hall. So that wouldn't make sense to ban me from there because then I would be forced to be out within the community, right? So
Mm-hmm.
and there's more people going to see me if, like you were saying, if they're going to try to silence me, if they're trying to
Yeah.
silence me. So they're forcing me out into community. What that was they didn't want me to have that basically that one-on-one time for the police officers to actually see, hey, what he's saying making sense, and whatever kind of what they telling us about this young man isn't reality. And how does somebody who's not a police officer know about something that's happening within the police department, but we don't know?
Mm-hmm.
So to
Mm-hmm.
stop me from talking to the police officers and basically bringing the morale down or getting shit stirred up, they said, "Oh, let's just ban them from here," and then the police officers don't have to sit with them because when I'm on the public sidewalk, the police officers aren't sitting with me, and I don't get to talk with them on that one-on-one or that level like that where I can explain
Yeah.
and give them the facts.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
see?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So now with that being said, I wanna like basically branch off from that. So I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna say three things. And I want and people can take it from there. So it's it's improbable that a white supremacist with a white supremacist tattoo can become a police officer. That's improbable, right? That should be improbable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's one. Number two, it should be highly improbable that a police officer with a white supremacist tattoo gets to get it covered up and keep his job, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now, number three, it should be damn near impossible for a white supremacist to become a police officer. It be discovered that he have a white supremacist tattoo, it be covered up and he keep his job and he gets promoted to lieutenant and over the hiring department as well.
Wow. 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 Yeah. Yeah. So he's in charge of who comes in and who doesn't.
That should be the last thing that happens. So there's something that's improbable that happened, something highly improbable that happened, and then there's something that should be impossible that happened.
Yeah. 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 Do you have and it's only if you do you have any kind of insight on who actually promoted him to that position or no? You don't know.
I actually don't know, and I don't. I have a. We anybody with common sense knows because they know who has the authority to fire him once he's found to have the white supremacist tattoo. We know
Mm-hmm.
who makes the executive decision. So anybody with half a brain knows the person that could have made the executive decision to clean the stain off the Texas City Police Department is We all know.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I I did a little bit more digging into the white supremacy, the email about white supremacy that the Texas African American Police Officers Association, and I want you to pull up the little about a paragraph that I sent you.
Okay, real quick.
And
Can you see the screen before I pull that up?
yeah, I can see
Somebody
the
asking
screen.
you a question in the comments. You see that
Oh
comment
no.
I put up?
Oh, it's Mr. Oh, what tattoo was it?
Yeah, just so
And
you can
in
interact with the people a little bit.
Okay, hey, Mr. Tim Hennessy. The tattoo is actually it says white silence, and it's a picture of a Confederate flag.
Okay. So you say you ready for me to you want me to share that image you sent me?
Yeah, and I want to give them a little precursor before you pull it up.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I've been having people, I've been having random people go in and fill out open records requests in the city hall, going and doing their own different one, basically like an audit of their actual process. And in that process, I had a lady go in there and file an open records request for that particular email from the Texas City African American Police Officers Association to Joe Stanton in 2019. And what I'm gonna have you read is an actual they're trying to fight it. The city of Texas City is fighting releasing that email, and it's not actually an email, it was a memo. And I want to read off a little bit. I want to read what uh why they're trying to fight it, basically explains why they're trying to fight it.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna pull up what the brother sent me so you guys can see it. Now me and him we already spoke. It is a little blurry, but he's gonna
I can
read
read
it
it
off.
though.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna read off some, but I'm gonna read some part that I didn't give you, and then this is the paragraph before the paragraph that's on the screen. It
Okay.
says on September 21st, 2021, the city received an open records request from Torres for the email that was sent to Chief Joe Stan on March 2nd, 2019, from the Texas City African American Association. A copy of the open records request from Torres is attached as Exhibit A. This is the city attorney speaking to the attorney general. So now I'm going to read what it says on the screen. It says the document requested was not received via email, but was a memo dated March 2nd, 2019, that was left under the door of Chief Stan's office. A copy of the memo is attached as Exhibit B. The memo purports to be from the Texas City African American Association, but is unsigned, and the person or persons who delivered it to Chief Stanton are unknown. The memo makes numerous allegations against police officers employed by the Texas City Police Department. Based on the allegations contained in the memo, an investigation was conducted, but no misconduct was found, and therefore no disciplinary action was taken. The memo and other documents assembled during the investigation were put into the G file of one of the police officers.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Right.
And so what your open records request to was to receive a copy of that memo?
Right. And at the time before this, I didn't know it was an email. I was under the impression that it was I was under the impression that it was an email, but this is actually a memo, which is I think they typed it up and then
Mhm.
put the header on it as far as Texas City African American Police Officers Association. No, and then nobody had enough nuts to sign it.
Yeah. And what it looks like though, if he's saying that this was slid under the door of Chief Stanton, it had to be we could have reasonably deduced it was a police officer who did it because who else would be back there? Right.
Right.
Yeah. And I do know that the Tech City Police Department, the African American Association, however that title is worded, that organization does exist. So that's
Right.
a real organization.
Well, time out. I want not to cut you off. This is how
Mm-hmm.
we know this is how we know that it exists all together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have on video several
Keep
senior
talking. I'm
off
gonna share it one more time. Keep talking.
I have on video several senior officers saying when I asked them about this incident, they say, "Oh, we think that incident. We've heard about that incident. We are aware about that incident, but it's already been taken care of." What? It's already been taken care of by how? Getting it covered up?
Were these members of the Tech City African American Association who said it's been
Hold
taken
on.
care of, or
So,
someone who isn't associated with that group?
so I'm going to talk specifically. There was two officers not associated with the Tech City African American Association.
Okay. And you want to know something?
Hmm.
I actually I actually remember uh I actually remember when that memo was released on Facebook. I saw it. I saw it. I did like a little Facebook
That
live
was,
on
but hey, that was the one they released in 2020. This is the
it.
one we're the one. See, the one in 2020 I have. The one that I'm requesting is the one they sent in 2019 that they put under the door.
Oh, it's more than one.
Right, it's two. It's two of them.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Hmm.
Okay, and so you filed an open request for it, and so in order to they basically requested that the attorney general give them the permission to deny you access to that memo.
Right.
Wow, I wonder what. So, well, all right, you don't have to answer this question, but I'm going to ask just as I want to be a good
Hmm.
interviewer. But you may not want to reveal all your sources, right? But
Right. Hmm.
if you want to answer, answer. Don't if you don't. But how do you know that? How did you know that that other memo existed? How did you know?
It's it actually said it in the second memo. It said that they had reached out to Chief Stanton previously the year before, and it said the date and it said what it was titled.
And if I'm not mistaken, what you're now telling me is the second memo. Didn't it say something to the effect that they have tried to get these issues resolved on numerous occasions and nothing has been done? Wasn't that one of the accusations?
Yes,
Yeah,
they were. Yes, that it said that their cries had fell on deaf ears.
yeah. I do remember that.
They're
Wow.
basically the black police officers are basically begging for help with white within for white supremacy within the Texas Police Department. They're begging for help with it.
And I will say this. I actually was um locked in with a battle with the Galveston County Health Department over some issues that they had, where they had released a story where they were saying that one of their entities, Coastal Health and Wellness, had potentially exposed over 9,000 people in Galveston County to HIV and hepatitis. And
Right.
so, as soon as I saw that story, I began calling up there, asking questions, going up there, trying to talk to people, trying to get to the bottom of it. And I even began going up there, filing several open records requests. And this is how I know this is how they operate, like how the brother was saying.
Mm-hmm.
They did the same thing to me in a totally unrelated incident with an unrelated organization. Well, they're kind of related, but another organization. What they did was they got their lawyers involved. The lawyers reached out to me and told me that I should no longer contact the Galveston County Health Department. If I had any questions or concerns, I could direct their law firm directly. And they had sent my open records request to the Attorney General and basically asked him to give them a decision that would allow them the right to deny me what I was lawfully requesting per the open records request. And unfortunately, the attorney general sided in their favor and they denied me the information that I was trying to get. And so I kind of hit a brick wall. How long did they say, like, when will you be getting a response from the attorney general on this
I
matter?
I think the process is I want to say is they have 45 days to respond.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
they have a little while to respond.
Yeah. And do you okay, hypothetically, if they were to do you how the health department did me and deny me the open records request, do you have any other angles that you may not, you don't have to say what you're going to do, but do you have a follow-up, or do you want more people to try to file open records requests, like?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, what we're trying to do is we trying to identify the members of the white supremacist gang, because there's a white supremacist gang within Texas City Police Department, and we trying to identify some of the members. Well, all the members. We know for sure Lieutenant Manuel Johnson is one with the tattoo being covered up. Anybody, I'm not gonna say any names, but anybody that signed off on or enabled the cover up of the tattoo and also allowed him to keep his job, they're members of the gang. And there's also if I these are my speculations, I believe Ricky Drix is one of the officers that's in the white supremacist gang. He was actually another officer. He was the other officer that killed Jamal Valentine with Mike Kellerman, that came from the Mark Police Department over here. If I had, I think that it's almost like the Freemasons. If you know how the Freemason level works, there's levels. So there's certain levels that after a certain point that some officers stop at, and they're not able to get that information. And the reason why I say that is because whenever I'm whenever I'm out on public sidewalks protesting, I'll stop police officers and I'll genuinely ask them, do they know about Lieutenant Manuel Johnson have a white supremacy tattoo and have it covered up? And you can see the shock in their face, and I have them on video, and they're saying no. They're saying no, we didn't know about it. And you can see the shock in their face. And I say that to say that there's a gang, because how were they able to keep it away from all the other officers? You see what I'm saying? How do y'all all work together, but only certain people have certain information? It's not like a mission. It's not like a investigation, like a criminal investigation where you have to be very secret or anything like that. These are internal issues that are going on. Like that will affect the morale of the police department, and it also makes our community dangerous, and it makes the police department, it doesn't make it safe for the police officers. Any white supremacist that is in the police department, Texas Police Department, he puts all the other officers at jeopardy.
Yeah.
All of them at danger, all of them.
Have they attempted to stop you from protesting at the police department? How they stopped you from protesting at City Hall?
No, they haven't, because that's a public sidewalk. Public sidewalk. The city has no authority to govern over public sidewalks, so they can attempt to govern their inside of City Hall. I won't fight that, because it's really no point in me fighting it, because there's more people. I see 1,000 cars, at least 1,000 cars see me right there by Edo Japan and Jack in the Box right there. And shout out to Edo Japan too.
Who? Shout out to who?
Edo Japan right there, that Japanese restaurant. They're actually
That's,
very friend. Right
that's
there
where.
by that's off 21st right there, cattle corner from Jack in the Box.
Oh, okay. In that little small shopping
Yeah,
center.
they're
I know
very
it's
nice. Yeah, they're very nice. If I need water or anything while I'm standing out there, even though I bring bottles of water in my backpack and stuff, they're very friendly and they're very nice.
Do you have specific times that you go out there? Like, if anybody's listening, if they wanna come out and support, like, when can they expect you? Like, do you go at certain times
Um,
of the day, or?
I try to do it in the morning. I try to go sometimes, like usually I'll try to go between like 7 and 10, and then I'll try to fall in sometimes. It just depends, but mainly I try to go between 7 and 10, or between 12 and 1 ish, like that. But I'm gonna start going. I want to start going right when school's about to let out, so I can start informing and educating the kids about the things that's going on within the community, as far as with the police department and some of the issues that the community is facing, because they don't know what's going on, and we have to let them know what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. And let me ask you this. Um, how would you gauge success? And let me tell you why I'm asking you that. Um, a lot of times I notice, and not with you personally. You seem very focused. You've been doing this for a long time. You know what you're doing. But I want to ask this question. in an educational format for people that may be listening. I notice
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times some people will protest, right? And some
Mm-hmm.
people will speak out against certain things that they don't like, but they don't have a clearly defined end goal. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have um a clearly defined standard that they are attempting to meet, whereby which once they meet it, they can say, okay, I have reached success. I'm doing this to achieve this result.
Mm-hmm.
If I receive this result, I will consider it a success. So with everything that you're doing right now, how would you gauge success? Like exactly what end result are you looking for? Is it just to give information to the people? Is it to clean up aspects of our police department? Is what is it? What are you trying
Okay.
to accomplish?
Uh, I have some pretty clear cut goals. Um, one of them would be more diversity, more inclusion. As far as people of color within Texas City Police Department. Um, Meaning that I would like to see more more people of color within supervision, meaning black lieutenants, black captains, black first sergeants, um, more of black people with rank. That's one thing I would like. Number two, like I explained previously, um, what about Desrick Johnson, and one of the demands is Lieutenant Manuel Johnson and the other officers. Once we finally do identify the rest of them, are to be demoted to desk duty, which is sitting at the police department with no badge. I mean, no gun and just your badge, and you just do desk duty. Y'all, they'll be demoted to that. Or there's three options: they can be demoted to desk duty, they can either resign, or they can be terminated. That's one of the goals whenever we identify the rest of the white supremacist gang members within Texas City Police Department. Another clear cut goal would be to basically inform the all city employees, all government employees on citizens' rights as far as recording them, because that was a big issue. There's a lady up there. Her last name is Callen, Kallien, and that was the lady that shut the blind down on me. That's
Oh,
one
in the video.
lady.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm tired of being like nice about this shit. All the white women at City Hall don't know shit about the First Amendment and First Amendment protected acts, and they should be educated on it. Those white women up there, for some reason, they feel entitled. They feel that nobody can do anything, or anything they don't like, nobody can do it, and they'll call the police on you. Those were the women that were calling the police on me, the white women up there, and it reminded me of Carolyn Bryant. Do you know who that is?
Not by name. What's the story?
Carolyn Bryant was actually the lady that lied on Emmett Till.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Right. So that's what they remind me of every time they have the police come up there for me simply filming. It makes me think of that every time. That would be another goal, which would be educating the city employees and the government employees on the citizens of Texas City's basically their civil rights.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
also another one would be they've been pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. One thing about me, I'm very honest. They've been pretty good. If I must say, I'll say they got like a 6 out of 10, which is pretty good for Texas City, because usually they're shitty with everything. So a 6 out of 10 is actually decent for Texas City as far as their open records process. They don't follow it how they're supposed to, and it's actually a law, but they they're fair, but they're not. If that makes sense, meaning that with certain things that they know are gonna kind of like stir up the pot, they'll make it more difficult. They might drag their feet on it, just doing things that basically a governmental body shouldn't do, but they're doing.
Yeah. Have you ever considered a career in law enforcement?
Nah, I've never really been interested in being a cop. I know is rooted in white supremacy, and just this right here is actually an eye opener for me because man, they're scared. If you take the time to write up something, let me explain something to you, Matt. If you take up the time to write up something and type it up and do all that, but then you don't have the heart or the courage to sign it and let anybody know who it came from, you're scared.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
scared. You're
In
scared.
reference to
Period.
that memo.
Right. To that member, yeah, they're
Yeah,
scared. They're scared as hell. Like they're because it's just like probability. It's very improbable as far as is like with black as far as with black men and black women and people of color that not one person would make a would make more noise than just cowardly putting a basically cowardly putting a little note under a desk that we're police officers. So if we police officers, then that's like hell needs to be raised behind that. That's not nothing you can stick under your boss's your door and then think it's gonna get fixed. That's not gonna it's not that's not how it's gonna get fixed. So and that's what I was saying. I'm fighting for them too. I'm fighting for the people of color, the officers that are persons of color, because I mean, it's blatant. It's blatant what's going on. And I want to say this, not to ramble. We can go to the next thing. I try to talk so people can understand and it makes sense. If you've been doing something, Matt, longer than me for 15 to 20 years, you've been being a police. I say you've been being a police officer for 15 to 20 years longer than me. It's a very high probability that you're a better police officer than me, which means you're going to have more experience, better qualifications, better skills with how to handle certain situations. You're just going to be better overall, right? Because you've had more time in
more
doing it,
experience.
right? Um, it's very improbable that if I've been doing something 15 years less than you, that I'm gonna be better at it than you. And that's what's going on in the Texas City Police Department. They have black officers that have been police officers for 10 and 15, 20 years longer than the white police officers that have rank over them.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, well, yeah. Was there anything else specifically that you wanted to get out in this interview? Any other
Uh,
topics specifically that you wanted to address?
Mainly just I'm right now we're focused on the police department. We're
Mhm.
focused on weeding out the white supremacist gang members in within the Texas City Police Department. Once we finish that, we will focus our attention back on Dedrick, Mayor Dedrick, City Attorney Romari Lee, anybody that's that's not representing the people of Texas City the way they're supposed to, even if they don't like them, even if they don't like how they act or anything like that. Meaning that if I come in there recording or I come in there with a sign, you don't have to like it. You're a public servant. That's it. You don't have to like it. It's not about being liked.
Mhm.
Do you see
Mhm.
them? That's where they get it confused. Like I don't have to kiss your ass. I don't have to do any of that. If I'm upset about the way things are going, I'm able to express those grievances, and you don't have to like it. But you can't call the police on me, and you can't criminalize me voicing, well, expressing my grievances, and that's what they're doing. But right now, we're focused on the police department, and then after that, we'll be back focused on them, and we will have demands. That's it. We'll have demands for what it'll take for Desrick Johnson to be the mayor of Texas City for 4 more years.
Yeah.
And I know right now they're underestimating me. The city hall, the police department doesn't underestimate me at all. They're fully capable of. I mean, they're fully aware of how powerful I am. It's the city hall that It's the city hall that doesn't understand how powerful I am, and they don't understand like once I invest my energy and I start affirming and I start doing affirmations into something that I really want, then I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're coming up on that hour mark. So we're going to
Hmm.
be winding it down to close it out. Just in closing, is there any kind of way that if you like, if anybody wanted to get in touch with you, is it any kind of like personal information you wanted to share with somebody, like social media, email, anything that you want to share with people if they want to get in touch with you or to support what you have going on? How can they do that?
People can reach out to me if you want to reach out to me through email. My email is going to be Frederick, which is the same way it's spelled under on my name right here on this video, and it'll be Frederick23 at gmail.com. I'm having a little trouble with my YouTube page. I don't know how to actually list the link. I do have a YouTube page that is called Exposing Texas City Corruption that I've just started as well, that y'all can try to find. It'll have videos of some of the things that I've been experiencing. I also have a Facebook page, a new one that I started. It's under my name, Frederick Amy. It's going to be a picture of me when I was probably like 10 or 9, but you'll probably be able to recognize me. That's another way y'all can follow me and support me.
Okay. And what you could do, you say you're having trouble sharing like the YouTube videos you have or the YouTube channel itself.
The YouTube channel itself.
Okay, yeah, I know you're talking about. Probably what'll be easiest. What I'll do is I'll just like pick a video and
Mm-hmm.
I'll like share that video and I can say, okay, if you click on this link, it'll take you to one of my videos and you can subscribe from there. So
Okay.
if you can't share a link to the actual channel itself, like grab one of your videos and share your
Okay.
video with somebody, and then if they click on that video, they're going to be able to see your channel and then
Oh,
they can subscribe right there.
this is one thing that I gotta say before we get off. I'm glad, man. Please, I just want to say this.
Yeah, go
This
ahead,
is
bro.
to this is to all law enforcement officers. I do not hate all police officers. I do not have a grudge against all police officers. This is not for all police officers. I have family members that have retired from being police officers. This is not that. Don't take my intensity, my aggression, or my aggressiveness and translate that into just a hate for all police officers, because it's not. The people, I specifically know which police officers I don't like, and I'm channeling that to them. That's to the white supremacist police officers. Even if you're not a white supremacist police officer, but you're a rogue police officer, you're a dirty police officer. That could be a black dirty police officer, a white dirty police officer, Hispanic dirty police officer. It doesn't matter. But if you saying you're a police officer and you supposed to protect and serve, and you're supposed to be this upstanding person, and you're not going by that, then I'm gonna hold you accountable. And that's what it is. It's not me. Oh, I just hate cops and I hate authority. And if y'all go and watch some of my videos, y'all can see that. Y'all can see that I generally do not hate police officers, and I wanted to get that out before we ended this. So people watching this won't think that I just hate authority and I hate police officers. No, I do not.
What's your YouTube channel again?
Is exposing Texas City corruption.
Exposing, and it's
Mm-hmm.
one word,
And one word.
all one word.
Exposing. No, it's separated.
Huh?
It's separated, brother.
All right, hold on. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up, and I'm gonna try to share it real quick, just so people can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, exposing Texas
Texas
City.
City corruption.
Let me see if I can find it real quick, just so the people
Am I
can.
able to copy a link and post it in the chat?
Um, it may not. I mean, you can try. It may not post as a link. If because I don't have any moderators, I be saying some people channels. I think you got to be a moderator. But
Okay.
I'm trying to see if I can find it. Um, what's the name of one of your videos?
Um, and I'd have to go look. I know one of them is like racist Texas City police officer takes me to jail. It's man. Am I able to go look while we're on here?
Um, it all depends on yours. Hold on, wait a minute, I think I found it. I think I I think I found it. Hold on, tell me. I'm finna. I think I got it for you, bro. I'm finna share my screen. Tell me if this is the video. All right. Let me see. Is this it?
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the videos.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you guys, I want you guys to look at this. What I'm sharing right now. You see how I say exposing Texas City corruption. Okay, exposing Texas City is one word, and corruption is another word. So y'all can look at this, screenshot this, try to. I'm gonna subscribe right now.
Okay,
It's
appreciate
not
that,
letting me
brother.
hit the notification bell. Um, sometimes you see this bell right here where my cursor is at.
Right.
Yeah, that's the bell. People can click that so they'll know whenever you go live. I know it does that on some of my videos too. People have told me that they was having that same problem. Um, that could be a couple of issues. You may have to go in and make sure that your channel is not set for children. Maybe that's something we can look into offline. But yeah, so you guys see this exposing Texas City corruption. This is the brothers YouTube channel. Y'all can try to find that, subscribe. Just look for it. You see what I typed in? Exposing. You don't need that three. I just typed in exposing Texas City corruption. I spelled racist wrong, but racist Texas City police, and that was one of the videos that popped up. So if you guys, somebody seeing this, if you want to see more content that the brother is sharing, you guys can go ahead and pull that up. All right. Just anything else you want to say in closing, brother, or are you
No,
good?
if anybody watching this in Tech City community and y'all see me out there, peacefully protesting with my signs and y'all support it, just can y'all just honk, take pictures, however y'all want to show y'all support, man.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you having the guts and the heart to keep pushing with this thing, even though it seems like you're facing some pushback at every level, even with being arrested, not being allowed to go to certain areas. Seemingly you're potentially having your open records request denied. I'm well aware that yeah, that'll come with the territory because a lot of times when you're trying to address something as a problem and that problem is a system that someone else has in place, a system is like a living organism. It wants to survive, you know, and it wants to survive regardless of the individuals that's in it because you'll have several people that'll come in and out of the system and the system itself
Mm-hmm.
can stay the same. And so that system, whenever these systems are created, they're created with certain mechanisms that will allow them to continue living, even when
Mm-hmm.
you begin to give the pushback. So that back and forth, that push and pull, yeah, that kind of what happens. I wish you success with your endeavors. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you being willing to speak on it, and I appreciate everything that you're doing, the information that you're dropping, some of the stuff that you're saying. I didn't even know about what was going on in the police department. Some things I have heard, some things I was aware of, and I'm pretty sure that the people listening, a lot of this information may be new to them as well. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
for that. Thank you for coming on, brother. And anytime you want to come back on, just reach out to me. Let me know. I'll get you on the show, and you can address the people and say whatever you need to say. And I also want to say anybody else out there with any kind of grievances, if you want to come on, just reach out to me. You can send me an email at Matthew Daniels 720 at yahoo.com. You can find me on Facebook, Matthew Daniels, my regular name. You can find me on Facebook. Reach out to me, and I'll try to bring you guys on as well. All viewpoints are welcome. We need to start having some of this open dialogue in the public eye because
Mm-hmm.
when these things are only discussed behind closed doors, it's easier to cover it up. And a person will be able to say, "Oh, well, we dealt with that. We handled that situation."
Mm-hmm.
But whenever you just handle something in house and nobody else knows about it, did you really handle the problem? Sometimes, everything needs to be laid on the table. So people have to be willing to come out and tell their story. So thank you for that, brother. So we're about to be logging off. I hope you guys like, share, subscribe. If you can, share this. And again, go find my brother's YouTube channel, subscribe, because he's going to be dropping you guys some powerful information and some follow-ups, because he probably can't get in touch with me every single day, but he can upload to his personal channel a lot more often, and he'll probably be able to come on here. So I want you guys to go follow him as well. So thanks for watching. This is your brother Matthew Daniels, aka Pooh, aka the Chosen Few, aka the Real Bookworm. I call myself that for a reason, family. I call myself that for a reason. Thank you guys for tuning in, and may your name live on forever, and may your memory never die. Hotel, thank you guys for watching.